Welcome to Taking Care of Your Business. Ideas for leaders who are humble, hungry, and smart. At a recent party, someone asked me, "What do you do and why do you do it?" The first question I get a lot, but the second one, the why, got me thinking about my journey. My mother and father both grew up on Illinois farms, and my dad became a finance executive for a large manufacturing company in Pennsylvania where I grew up. They were married 73 years. And what I learned from them is that there is no replacement for hard work and keeping your word. As a kid, I was a wrestler and an Eagle Scout. Wrestling taught me resilience and mental toughness, and scouting taught me a range of practical and leadership skills I may never have learned otherwise. In my junior year of high school, I ran for president of the student government and won, even though I had never been in student government before. And at Gettysburg College, I was the first person to be elected in my first year to the Student Conduct Review Board, a kind of Supreme Court for the students. From both experiences, I learned to not be afraid to put myself out there. After college, I worked for a while and then earned a doctorate in ethics from Yale University. I had the opportunity to work with incredible teachers from the business and law schools, from the medical and divinity schools, including the most inspiring teacher I ever had, who was a Catholic nun. At Yale, I also learned an important lesson: never to allow myself to be either intimidated or seduced by prestigious institutions or people with big titles. They get up, get dressed, and brush their teeth just like everybody else. I once served as the board chair for a company that did infrastructure development in 40 countries around the world. They were having some real problems, and I was brought in to turn it around. I knew that if the company went under, which was a real possibility, the people who would suffer the most would be the employees, and I wasn't going to let that happen. I ended up firing the entire board, recruited new board members, and with the new CEO, rebranded the company and got it going in the right direction. 1,000 employees kept their jobs. 1,000 families continued to flourish, and their communities were strengthened as a result. I once worked in a consulting firm that specialized in turnarounds, and our clients were from a broad range of industries. As different as these companies were, they had something in common. You can't turn around the business unless you turn around the culture. Before moving to Long Island, where my wife grew up, the biggest turnaround I was involved in was when I served as the chief ethics officer for a company that had experienced a financial fraud to the tune of $120 million. Employee engagement was at rock bottom, and financial losses nearly led to a default on our bond covenants. My job was to build a culture of integrity across the company. Warren Buffett once said it takes 20 years to build a good reputation. It took us nearly as long, 13 years. We improved employee engagement to the 99th percentile, had our best financial performance in history, and were recognized as one of the world's most ethical companies, one of only 130 companies around the globe to be recognized that year. Which leads me back to the question the person asked me at the party: why do I do what I do? As leaders, we often find ourselves anchored in a comfort zone that limits our growth and the growth of our organizations. The real transformation happens when we step into the unknown and embrace the challenges that come with it. Whether you're leading a company, nurturing a family, shaping a community, or trying to figure out how to do all three, what I do is to help you break through barriers, drive success, and create a life filled with purpose and impact. My why is to empower leaders to move beyond their comfort zones and steer towards success and significance for their companies, families, and communities. And I do this as a Vistage chair, leading peer advisory groups and executive coaching. This is why I get out of bed in the morning. What's your why? Thanks for joining. Until next time, I'm Jeff Oak.